Hello and welcome to this first video, which is just going to document my plant journey as I go. I'm not a botanist or a horticulturalist or a gardener. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just having a crack. So I want to document how my garden changes. So here, this is just out the front of the house. As you can see, very bleak, very dry. We haven't had rain in about 10 weeks. So this area is a target area. So far I've just put these garbage succulents here. They're very beautiful, but they're not Australian native, which is my key target. So these are those, I think they're called green rose. Not really that interested in them. That is the jade plant and another one of those succulents. The reason the jade plant is covered up there is because that is a path for a wombat that comes every night, and so it likes to rip up and kill the jade plant. And I think the rabbits also eat jade plant, so since I've protected it, they haven't pulled this one out. These are just plants that I've either taken cuttings from or I've found on the side of the road. So I was just like, well, it's so bleak, I might plant it, I'll fix it later. Here, these are the established trees. I bought this place a year ago. The place is less than 20 years old. So coastal tea tree is a very common tree down the Victorian coast. As we round this small gap here, we've got coast sword hedge. I found this on the side of the road. I'll come back to this in another video about how well that's doing after I took it out of a pot and decided to separate it into little bulbs. These two tree protectors here, this one's a red flowering gum. These are from WA, not native to here. I just thought I had so many of them that I just put one in. But as you can see, it's looking really sun damaged, I think. Not an expert, but it was doing okay. It hasn't grown much. I just had so many of them. I thought, you know what, I'm going to chuck one in the ground during spring and see what happens. Hasn't grown much and is not doing well in summer, as you can see. So as we move on, we've got the next is definitely a native, which is the Banksia integrifolia or the coast Banksia. Again, I had heaps of these. So this one here is quite small. I put it in the ground. Also interesting, doesn't look like it's dying, but it's done nothing, even though this is its native soil. This is a loamy sand on the Victorian coast, but it's done nothing. Rounding the front, more coastal tea tree. Lots of potential out there for things to possibly plant. This is just some succulent that I found on the street. Then we come around, we see a dead tree, which eventually I will also get rid of and replace with something else, but I like the coverage right now. This is a hakea, not native to here, also native to WA. It's giving good coverage right now. They're actually known to smother natives down here, so I might get rid of it. Now under here is quite interesting. We've got this area that bogs instead of being the loamy sand. It's really clay. So I've done a little experiment here. I've grown from seed knobby clubrush. So I put a few of the young ones in here to see if they survived. Behind that's an agapanthus. They are a weed down here. My girlfriend's asked to keep it. It's on borrowed time. Now as we come around here, this is an area I'm going to plant a lot out. I just tried to put in a bunch of cuttings like this that were on their last legs to see if they caught, but come autumn and spring I'm going to plant some more. This here is Gazania. Gazania is not native, unfortunately. Here we've got the first of a series of Banksia marginata. It's close to the house because it develops a deep taproot, so I'm hoping it doesn't affect the foundations. That's a poa grass, native to around here. This is underneath the stairs though, so it hasn't grown that well. There's the sedge. I'm going to come back to that in a different spin-off episode. Here is the carcala or pig face. Because it's also native to this region, it's absolutely going mental. Again, that's the same there. There is some terrible Timu Corten edging. You get what you pay for. Have a look at that. There is no way you could ever get that thing straight, but that's all good. Around the tanks here, just behind there, this is going to be a place in the future where I'm going to do a lot of planting. There's an old Christmas tree that is getting ready for the fire. As we come to this area, we've got Coria alba, which is also native to this area. I bought that. This is an interesting little eucalypt leaf that's come through. One died there last year, so maybe it's popping back through. These are all types of hybrids. I bought them, sadly. That's an old lime tree that just would never get leaves. So I was like, I'm going to plant it here, see if it does anything. Otherwise, it can die. This is all nice mulch I got from the tip. This is another Banksia marginata, loving life. This here is a creeping saltbush, Rhagodia. I took that from a cutting. It's absolutely killing it. More Coria alba, native to here, and these are the hybrids. As we come along here, this is a hairpin Banksia, like a small shrub one. But this, it got hit with 3 days of frost, and I was certain it was dead. All of a sudden, spring comes around, it starts getting these leaves again. So it hasn't done much since, but it's still alive. Amongst the coastal tea tree here, we also have got more of these succulents, not native, that I found, just filling in space. I'll leave them there till I get a better idea, really. And then we come along behind this retaining wall. I have stuck some more pig face behind there just to see how it goes. It will go well, given it's native to this area. It just loves these conditions. As we come across, we've got a Kings Park Callistemon here. I'm trying to get some hedging. That's why I've put that in, and I bought quite a large one. There's another salt bush that I took from cuttings. Some more succulents, which are obviously not native. There's another marginata, trying to get some hedge going with that. Another one, they're doing so well. These are interesting. These are 2 eucalypts in which I had to cut down. I was forced to cut down, and look at that. Over spring, they've just sprung back. And this one over here has actually probably got 2 meters of height of growth. So I'm just going to let it keep growing and see what happens. I've got a retaining wall overturning. When the tree came down, it exposed some rot at the foundation of the post. Here is another Atriplex, or perhaps the first one I've shown you today. I took this from cutting. I'm going to take this out in a different episode and try save it because it won't survive. There's some rosemary, very easy to take from cuttings, not native. Another marginata. Here is another example of where I've just taken one of these little Banksias. I'm like, let's see what happens. I've got so many of them. Let's see what happens when they're too young. They haven't done very well. This one here is a eucalyptus I uprooted, and I thought it was dead, and then it started coming back. Then it's 40 degrees all the time and not raining for 10 weeks, and now I think it's the end of it. Here are Coria reflexa, also native to here. That is a dog, not native to here. This is a silver... No, that's a coast wattle, doing well. This one, can't remember what it is. Does anyone else know? Not sure. I'm sure I could work it out. These are more Coria reflexa. This is another type of gum. I'm not exactly sure what. I need to remember. Again, I bought that one. There's coastal tea tree. Just seeing if I can salvage it. Coria alba. More Coria alba. These are native to here. Coastal tea tree. Behind this one here, this is another type of Coria, probably Coria glabra perhaps, could also be Coria alba. It's killed it. I took that from a tiny cutting from the train station. That is a salt bush, again from cuttings, doing well. These are salt bushes. I'm trying to get some real thickness here to shield out the neighbours, and so these have all been taken from small cuttings, and they've just absolutely rocked on in the garden. There's another Coria reflexa, putting them pretty close to the fence so that I can maximize space in my own joint they can grow over. More Corias. There's the coastal tea tree again, Leptospermum. There is a Callistemon in that protection there. There's an Atriplex. This is the pink, which is a hybrid. That was a request by my girlfriend. More Coria alba. More... reflexa. The reason I put so many of them in and that I bought so many of them is just because you can just really see the neighbours, and so I wanted to get ones that were more established than ones I did from seed or ones that I took from cuttings. But in some cases the cuttings are actually doing better than the ones I bought, ironically. But I can just replace them over the years or do anything similar. Here is another salt bush, grey salt bush. There is more Coria. All these are from cuttings. That's a Westringia, also native to here. This here is the succulent garden. This was my girlfriend's creation. It looks really good with the white stone. It's just got heaps of different leaves on it. None of these are natives, so their species are who cares, 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 yeah, who cares. Who cares and who cares? So while this is ongoing, I will just do nothing and just wait. So there is that. This is a little area we're going to make a little tea garden. When we go to the back corner here, these are two beautiful Atriplex that we actually bought, and they're doing really well because it's native to here. There's another Coria alba, probably going to regret putting that there. There's another Coria reflexor or similar, another one, and just some succulents. And here are a bunch of ones that we bought. This is again my girlfriend's garden. So ones that have nice flowers. There is that agapanthus, which is living on borrowed time. This is the fairy garden, and it's doing pretty well, particularly considering our lack of rain. I've kind of been watering them just once a week, living on tank water, so can't get rid of it too much. These are Westringias, like a creeping sort of version, and each of these, some of these are as I go along and I do more things from seeds and cuttings, I may regret putting so many in initially. This here is just to show just how much potential there is in this yard. It's on quite a hill. Unfortunately, it's also got a septic system, which is going to limit what I can do. This here is Betula, which is your classic Northern Hemisphere silver birch. Now, my girlfriend is from Sweden, so it was a demand of hers that we get this. It was doing so well, but now it's not looking great because of all these 40-degree days we've had. But look at that, still green. So I've got faith that it's going to bounce back. And if we look even closer, we can see the some new growth. And look at that. That's the little fella that tells me that things might be okay. But let's just pray for rain. You can see quite the hill that I'm on behind you. I need to find good ideas as we go along for getting around the fact that we have an irrigation field. There's the dog about to have some zoomies. While she has these zoomies, I'll just say, so the plan is I'm just doing these general updates of the yard, and then I'm going to break it down into what's done by seeds, what's done by cuttings, how I'm propagating it, when I'm planting them, how they've failed, anything that I'm learning along the way, and document as it goes so I can learn stuff. And if anyone ever were to have nothing on their plate and were to watch this, then you can give me some tips too. As I've said, I am a total amateur. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just really excited and looking forward to this a lot. And yeah, so who knows what's going to happen as time goes along. So now we come back. These are things that I found at the local tip. There is an old rim that's rusted out, wheelbarrow, some pots. I'm going to eventually maybe make some type of garden with them and maybe fill them in. These there are the gazanias. I wish they were native because they just look so good. Eventually I'll probably have to replace them if I want to have a really good indigenous native garden and really contribute to the biodiversity. These here are, of course, wisteria. Now these are nearly killed. I paid $100 each. The reason they're in pots, wisteria are really invasive, and so I want to control their growth. I've got a 3-story balcony here, and I want it to climb up along the balcony. But our spring ended up being wetter, colder, and windier than average, and they hated it. Almost died. I will show in a different episode. Here, this was the first bit of the garden we did and it looks magnificent. This here is a manna gum. As you can see, it's covered. The reason I planted manna gum is that we actually get koalas in our backyard, so I'm trying to add a couple of extra food sources from them. So these ones we've planted, Westringia, other hybrids there, some grevilleas. These on the outside are all non-native. There's an area I'm going to plant in this autumn or this spring. There is your Silver Princess. Again, I bought the Silver Princess and the manna gums. There's also just some general rosemary there. This one here, I thought died in a frost, but it came back months later during spring, and it's doing okay. So I bought them at about 1.5 meters each, and they're up to about 3 meters. So they've done good. Again, this is for my girlfriend. This is Jasmine. The heat's really hurting that one, but on the other side, we've got one that's doing quite well. The idea is that they grow up along the bars. And yeah, it looks really nice in here with the Corten that we bought. That is lavender, very easy to strike from cuttings, and also rosemary, very easy. This is good Corten, which actually looks really nice. In here we've got more of the lavender, probably replace in the end. This one there is a creeping saltbush, a type of rhagodia. So see you next time for the next update. Thank you.